Welcome to guitar lesson number 2. In this lesson, I'm going to be going over 2 more chords that you can add to your repertoire of the original E minor chord that I showed you. So if you remember, the E minor chord as a quick brush up, we play it in the classical position with the thumb on the back, with this nice arch here, second finger, 2nd fret, 3rd finger, 3rd fret, 4th string, and it sounds like this. And if you recall, minor chords tend to sound a little more sad, major chords tend to sound more happy. Major, minor. Okay, if you need to watch any of these videos again, go ahead and do so. All the information is in the videos. You can always rewatch them to freshen up the ideas in your head. So today I'm going to teach you 2 more chords. Those would be the C major chord and the D major chord. All of the chords I've showed you so far have been what are called open chords. Open chords are called open chords because they're played on the open strings, which are E, A, D, G, B, E. Eddie ate dynamite, goodbye Eddie. So those are all the open chords. The open chords are typically the beginner chords because they're very friendly for beginners to learn, and you can start playing songs right away without having to learn anything that's going to destroy your fingers completely. Well, not just yet anyway. So without further ado, let's get into playing the chords. So the C major chord sounds like this. What we want to do to play this chord is start with our 3rd finger, so the ring finger, place it on the 5th string on the 3rd fret, right there. Next, what we want to do is take the middle finger, or the 2nd finger, place it right there on the 2nd fret of the 4th string or D string. So that's right underneath it, down 1. So this one here, and this one here. Next, the next string is just going to ring out by itself. Finally, we're going to put our index finger down on the 1st fret of the 2nd string or B string. I want you to play this one in the classical position as well. However, I think it's worth noting that some players may find it easier if you play it in the rock star position with your thumb over this way, just because of the way the chord's laid out. But if you have small hands, I would recommend doing this still and using the classical position. If you have larger hands and it feels uncomfortable to play, I would say definitely try this, putting your thumb over. One other thing I will mention also is we do not play the 6th string in this chord. We're not going to use it because the root of this chord, which is C, is right here. It'll be this note. 3rd fret of the 5th string. That is going to be our C, so we're not going to play the 6th string in this chord. What you can do if you're playing this way is mute it with your thumb. Just put your thumb over it like that, so it can't play it. All the rest of the strings are going to ring clearly, so we need to make sure that the fingers are curled and that we have plenty of space so that the open strings can ring. We don't want any muting like we don't want to hear that. We want to hear a nice clean chord. So one more time, we have the 3rd finger on the 3rd fret of the 5th string. We have right underneath it the 2nd finger on the 2nd fret of the D string, right there. So it's just one down and one below. So we have that there. We're going to let the G string open up. We're going to let it play open. And then finally, the index finger is going to sit right there on the 1st fret of the 2nd string or B string. Play all that with a decent curve and you get one more time. I'll mention that we're not playing this. So you want to avoid playing this string. Try not to play that. That's why also I like to play the chord in the rock star position to mute the string so that I can just go crazy with this hand, and it doesn't matter, this isn't going to get strummed. So we can play that with downstrokes and upstrokes, and we can even combine it with the E minor chord we played. So we can play like, if you want to get good at these chords, what really makes good guitar players who are good at the really core stuff, what makes them good is they can switch chords very quickly and efficiently. So if we're looking at switching this C major chord to the E minor chord like this, so what would we do? We would lift this finger, we would move these fingers, this would move down one, and then this would move right underneath it. And then to move back to the C chord, your third finger would go back to the 3rd fret of the 5th string. Your second finger would just drop down one string, and the index finger would drop down on the B string like that. So practice switching between these. Do it nice and slowly. So practice that and try to get that up to speed. Like that. Next, I'll teach you the D major chord, which also goes very nicely with our C major chord that we learned and our E minor chord that we learned. A D major goes very nicely with those two. So the D major chord, we're not playing the 6th string or the 5th string. We're not playing the 6th string, we're not playing the 5th string either. It's just the 4th, 3rd, 2nd, and 1st. So what we want to do is we want to take the index finger, place that on the 2nd fret of the 3rd string or G string, place that there. Next, we'll take the 3rd finger, take the 3rd finger, ring finger, and place it right there on the 3rd fret, 2nd string. Then finally, we'll take the middle finger and then place it on the 2nd fret of the 1st string. Now this chord can be a little bit tricky for beginners to make it come out all the way. You want to really make sure right there that your 3rd finger is not blocking that note right there from resounding. You want to really make sure you're not getting lazy with it like this. You want to make sure you have those good curls in your fingers and it's coming over. Some people like to use this to mute both of these strings, but if you're a beginner and you have small hands, I would highly recommend putting your thumb on the back in that classical position. That'll help you get the maximum curve you need, especially for beginners. It may be helpful. Also, try not to tuck this pinky too much. It'll be very important for adding the suspended note later when we learn that. So try to just keep that pinky floating. Try not to tuck it. Some people do that and it's not a good habit. We want to have it free. So let me say it one more time. Index finger, 2nd fret, 3rd string. 3rd finger, 3rd fret, 2nd string, right there. And then finally, 2nd finger or middle finger on the 2nd fret of the 1st string. So with all those there, look like that. It sort of makes like a triangle shape, if you see. And once again, we're not playing this string or this string. And that's our D major chord. So we can practice playing our D major chord with the C major chord and the E minor chord. It's a pretty difficult switch to play D major to C major for most beginners. It's something that's going to take a lot of time to work up. But now that you have 3 chords in your repertoire, Now you're going to be able to play a simple song. You could play like, and again, you can combine upstrokes and downstrokes with your strumming hand. What's important is to make sure that it's fluid. For now, I would say just practice. I'll give you an exercise to finish off with. We're going to play the C major chord 4 times, the E minor chord 4 times, and then the D major chord 8 times. So on a click track, like, it would be like, that is the exercise that I'm going to send you guys off with. Practice switching the different chords. It's going to be difficult, but try to do it slowly so that you can find the most efficient ways to switch. It's not something that's going to come overnight. It takes a lot of practice to get this into your head, and more importantly into your fingers. They have what's called muscle memory in guitar playing, where you don't even have to think about it. You just think C change to D change, and then your fingers will move because your fingers have done it so many times that if you do the motion, your fingers will just kind of move there by themselves. So that's what you want to aim for, that muscle memory. So play these chords. Practice playing them, practice switching them up. You can practice like D major to E minor. You could practice just that. You could practice just C major to D major. You could practice C major to E minor. Practice anything like that. The point is to just play these chords. Play around with your right hand, strumming with the pick. Play around, maybe even strumming without the pick. Find what feels right for you, and that's how you're going to develop your own style as a guitarist. So I hope this second lesson video has been helpful, and I hope you enjoyed it. And I will see you next time in the third lesson.